Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here, and I'd like to welcome you to week number 9 of the TheHORRORMan's Slashback Saturday Challenge. This week's slasher theme is Animal Slasher, and I will be doing a review for Berserker. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. Berserker is based upon an old Nordic legend. A berserker was a bloodthirsty warrior who was kept in chains and used as the first line of assault in Viking raids. Because they ate human flesh, they were cursed by the god of Odin, forbidden a restful death, and fated to be reincarnated in their blood kin. Now, in present-day America, the berserker has risen out of hell to stalk a mixed group of college students camping in the woods. When the blood feast begins, the screaming suspense starts, clawing at the nerves. Can anything human destroy the berserker, or will the carnage continue over the centuries? Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one. The first thing I want to say is that Berserker can be considered a animal slasher because our killer, who is a Viking, is wearing a bear skin robe. So he's got this fur draped over him. His hands look like bear paws, as he uses the bear claws as his weapon of choice. So he does his slashing with the bear claws. Also on his face, he has a bear snout that he also uses as a weapon. So, pretty interesting choice of weapon style, I guess you could say. But here's where the movie gets a little bit interesting. It tries to do something different, especially different for slasher movies at the time. There's also a bear roaming around in the woods. So you have to decide while you're watching this movie, is there actually a berserker, or is it really this bear doing the killing, doing the slashing and the clawing? Is there a real berserker, or is it the bear? You'll have to watch and find out. So, I've got a pretty good history with this movie. When I was younger and would rent it from the store on VHS, I always loved this one as a kid. I watched it a few years back, maybe 3 to 4 years, when I got this DVD, and I was not as impressed by it. So, at that point, it didn't hold up that well for me. But I also did hold this movie in high regards for a lot of years. So, after viewing it again this time, I have to say that my opinions as an adult has pretty much held up to be true. Because I like the characters in the movie. Overall, I think the characters are basically what you would expect, the college students. And overall, pretty enjoyable, I would say. And I always loved the Berserker as the ideal of it as the killer. Like, he looks really cool. And, like, the design of it. But the thing that hurts the movie the most is the kills are pretty underwhelming. And that's really disappointing for a slasher movie. Because overall the storyline is good. There's a hint of mystery if there is a berserker actually, or if it is a bear that's doing this. So the idea was there. It's just all the kills are basically the same. And there's maybe 4 kills in this movie. I guess you can consider it to be 5 kills. And like one attack scene with clawing and using the bear claws and being sliced apart one scene of that is good, but unfortunately, after all the deaths are basically the same, all the kills are basically the same, it's a little bit underwhelming. And the ending reveal feels a little underwhelming to me as well. So, there's also one scene in the movie, there's a conversation, and it gives a lot of the secret to the movie away if you really pay attention to this conversation. There's also another really good scene, and I really enjoy these scenes from 80s movies. But our college students are at their cabin, and this cabin is, man, it's really small. Matter of fact, I believe it's only like one room. But anyway, the scene that I'm referring to that I really like from the 80s is they're having a campfire, and one of the guys is telling the story of the Berserker around the campfire. And I just really like that scene. I actually like it quite a bit. It's very reminiscent of the Friday the 13th campfire story. But enjoyable scene. A lot of this movie plays out as our characters are roaming around through the woods. They're kind of calling out for each other. They get lost. They're supposed to be at one cabin that they were assigned to, but one of our characters had grew up at this. Well, he didn't grow up at the cabin. He grew up going there, I guess I'm trying to say. But him and his father used to come there camping, and he was denied of being able to use that cabin, and he goes there anyway. Well, over the course of the movie, they're lost in the woods, and they show up at the other cabin that they were assigned. Of course, some of the characters are in relief as they think that they have found their way back to their cabin. And then he has to tell them the truth about, he decided on his own to take them to the cabin he grew up visiting. So they're for sure lost roaming around in the dark in the woods for a lot of the movie. At least the last half of the movie. But overall, this is still a pretty fun watch. It's pretty enjoyable. Just don't expect a lot with the kills. And the ending is not fabulous either. But overall, it is pretty fun. It is pretty enjoyable. I have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to this movie. Like I said, it's one I kind of grew up with. And it's kind of interesting, as a young kid, like when you watch something like this, I guess it's that your imagination really runs with it. And as an adult, you're actually just paying attention to what's presented to you, and you're not really putting any extra thoughts into it most of the time. I guess that's kind of an interesting way to kind of look at it. But anyway, overall, I still had fun with this. It's still enjoyable. I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorites, but I used to defend this movie, and I really don't know why. But I'm still going to give this a 6 out of 10. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. You guys let me know what you think about Berserker, if you have seen it or if you find it to be interesting. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.